Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate all you're doing in the way of service. Our presentation today is titled The Laws of Life 14, The Law of Love. And I will just take a moment now to get up a slide to show you as we prepare for our presentation, our meditation for the main body of the presentation. In the November 1931 issue of the Rosicrucian Digest, it was featured an article by Imperator Emeritus H. Lewis entitled Love and Thanksgiving. We will follow up on that article on the central law of love at the heart of the mystical life. We will consider love's meaning, wide-ranging expressions, and keys for sustaining it in our life. For you now, shared with you an image of a painting by Blake de Bosseguet. It's entitled, and I'll show you the title on the screen as well. I married a Cree princess, seen eye to eye. And you see the special way that eye to eye is written, associated with two beings, but also the number two associated with duality, but forming a unity in the underlying oneness. Blake mentions in regard to this work of art, and I'll quote him, inspired by this year's Valentine's Day, I decided to do a portrait of my wife, Shirley Chichu, and me. Shirley was the 1976 Ontario Native Princess and the 1976 Canadian Native Princess. The pageant was never held again after that. I suppose to this day, she is still the reigning princess. The secret to being married for so long is seen eye to eye. The circle, you can see, for example, the circle here, but also the circle in their unity. The circle is that fruition and its power to give. There are no words necessary. Now, we have a very beautiful symbolic work that expresses both the law of duality and the law of unity through the law of love. To give a little more background on this painting and the style that Blake's used, it comes through his Anishinaabe or Ojibwe upbringing and heritage. In that regard, I want to show you some associated images that are very influential in development of Blake's work. You'll see beside the painting, there is a pictograph. And pictographs, paintings on rock, are also petroglyphs, the carvings in a rock, were very important traditions ongoing with the Anishinaabe and for Blake in the development of his art form. Here you see a work of a pictograph that's in Agua Bay in Lake Superior Provincial Park near Ottawa, Ontario, near the shores of Lake Superior, which I know many of you know well. Related, and you see the shamans and the traditional knowledge keepers would pass down their traditions in part through the pictographs and the petroglyphs. And there were special places where they were that one would go with the teacher and the disciple to see and understand. Many of them would be quite challenging to access, and some are only by, traditionally only by canoe or by water. Related to that very profoundly too is the birch bark scrolls. These are ones that are actually at the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And these are Anishinaabe people who know the proper way to get the birch, when to get the birch bark, and which trees are best to do it. We tie in also with the birch bark canoe making and the knowledge of the birch bark. And these scrolls would have teachings on them. Many of them would be associated with the Medewiwin. They are an initiatic order of healers within the Anishinaabe. The stylus of bone or wood or metal would be used to etch into or inscribe into birch bark, and often black charcoal would be used to fill in the inscription inscriptions. Here we'll see diagrams associated typically often what a candidate would see in their degree initiations in the Medewiwin. They would have a birth and resurrection, and there would be various methods of healing using plants and both airs interior techniques and a shamanic journey. These are all things that were very important to Blake in the content for his work, but also in the style of his work. Related to this too, as well, were the various art forms or crafts associated with the Anishinaabe or Ojibwe. Here, for example, we see a male dancer's apron in the beadwork that dates from 1893. And you see the similarity of the way the flowers are dealt with compared to in the lower register or part of Blake's painting. So he's drawing on these rich traditions that were passed through the generations and through the elders to him. Related to this too, Blake was part of a great resurgence of traditional and indigenous arts throughout the world, including here in Turtle Island, North America. He was very active from the 1970s and on. He has passed through transition. But a generation just before him, including a renowned artist called Norvell Morrisseau, and I show you one of his works in the lower right to put Blake's painting in context, is a work entitled Shaman Talking to the Animals. And Morrisseau was a shaman. And Morrisseau even remarked once that all my painting and drawing is really a continuation of the same shaman's scrolls as depicted up above in the birch bark. And you see the shaman speaking to the animals. There's a great rapport with all nature. Indeed, we're all part of nature, particularly through that inner cosmic attunement. In a similar fashion, there was other elders that had a great impact on Blake and his development of art. One was Daphne Ojic, who's also from Manitoulin Island in Ontario, like Blake, the island that is named after the creator of the divine Manitou. And here we have a work by Daphne on a print entitled Homecoming. It dates from 1979. We see the welcoming of a newborn or new incarnated child. At the same time, there's a deeper mystical understanding that we're all on a great journey of going home or homecoming. Another inspiring artist of the generation before Blake that was formative to him was Carl Ray. You'll see in the lower left here. Here's one of his works from 1978 entitled Human Transformation, where the human with the bear are in communion. You notice that there's the circle with the concentric circles with the power lines going between their mouths. And similar with eye to eye in the work above, in Blake's work, the connection between Blake and Shirley, his beloved, is associated with the nous that the Rosicrucians talk about, the spirit energy that's on the physical plane, the manifest vibrations and the life force come together, and also vice versa with vibrations. That connection, you'll see that there's the agitated or vibratory lines around the human transformation work. But also there's the lines of energy that Blake shows that are associated with that tremendous vitality of a life force that will intensify in our meditation shortly. Here we have like depicted shaman taking on the force and powers associated with the bear spirit. If we keep proceeding in this fashion, we'll also see informative figure in Blake's life, Shirley Chichu. And here's one of her beautiful painters, because she was a wonderful actor and painter in her own right. And she grew up on a trap line, and she picks often scenes from her childhood. This one is entitled "Let's Have Tea." It's a very touching family scene, close sense of affinity, also with that sense of love in our relations with others. If we pull all these together now, you'll get a sense of the background of this beautiful work of love by Blake. In a way, this is a depiction of a microcosm of his macrocosm, but also in our own life, we have our own influences through our elders and through the deepest teachings of our culture that we have access and opportunities for, and part of the reason we incarnated into that culture. And we see various different expressions of the law of love passed down through the generations. But Rosicrucians speak of the doctrine and the law of reincarnation, where we come back again and again in various cultures of the world, and we really, over time, expand in our wisdom and breadth to a more and more universal conception. But in the particular, the universal is expressed. As mystics, we're always called to that. Now, concentrating on this fiction of love and eye to eye and that sense of unity, there's the mystical tradition of the mystical marriage and also the alchemical marriage. And by mysticism, we mean the art and science of love. We mean the path of the full growing up of the human being, the full maturing and regeneration of the human being. We mean to be one with the one, the direct experience, no intermediaries, at the heart of all culture, at the heart of our lives. And one of the ways that's expressed is often through your earthly form of love. Everything we do on earth, in a way, it can act as a sign and a signature for its divine correspondence to the law of correspondence, as above, so below. So in our relationships and friendships, so in our special romantic loves, it can give us that sense of the duality moving to the unity. We see that, for example, in various mystical traditions of the world. For example, in the Wisdom and Book of Solomon, there's a story. There's a story of the beloved and the loved and their spiritual divinity as an allegory for mystical union. We see, for example, the great mystic Spaniard John of the Cross in his beautiful poetry, speaking about the love relationship between two human beings, but symbolic of the unity of the divine, the outer nature and our inner nature. Rosicrucians refer to the outer self mirroring with the inner self, or with the master within. We'll undertake that in our meditation period as well. Related to this, in the poetry of John of the Cross and others, in the Rosicrucian booklet Upon a Quiet, the Rosicrucian and poet Michael Shululi has a poem entitled Moment of Affection that I'll read to as we gaze upon this inspired work by Blake Bossier. The poem's entitled Moment of Affection. Let us think of this and love in all its levels and drawing us to the mystical union. Affectionate tincture clasps her eyes and mine, distilled through the warmth of sharing the sweetness of our days. And a favored moment bound briefly to one another. Oh, so irresistible, her natural allure, my fiery hope. Her glance means what I wish for, a soft touch upon my brow, an acceptance of my desire. How might I tell her how I feel? How might I share the rapture she creates in the space between us? I know not of love's secret movements, but I know it has found me at this moment. My natural feelings for her may bring her joy, though she may not know it if words fail me. Oh, sweet voice that whispers in my ear of this special moment never forgotten. How might I ask you to guide me now? Give me strength to reveal her beauty to her, that upon the face of existence, awareness of love will be etched forever with another. Now, fratres and sorors and participants inspired by the example of the artist Blake Dubosky and the poetry of the beloved Rosicrucian Michael Shululi, let us have a period of meditation and experience furthermore, the central law of love. I invite you now to close your eyes and let go of the cares of the day. Let us use this as a special time of mini retreat, be regenerated. We are further unblocked to let the love flow, enriching our lives and those of others. And with your seated comfortably or lying comfortably or however you're situated, just ensure you can breathe in an unencumbered way and just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath, the incoming of the air and the outgoing of the air. And I invite you to extend your exhalation to be a little longer than your inhalation. And that helps bring about the relaxation response as we stimulate the great vagus nerve, working with and connected with the autonomic nervous system, itself a duality with the sympathetic and parasympathetic system we learn about in our weekly monograph studies with the Rosicrucians. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythm. You may wish to breathe just a little deeper than usual. Just continue to follow the breath. With the incoming of the air, you may wish to visualize the increased presence of the master within and feel the vital life force, the very essence of life coming into you. And with the outgoing of the breath, feel that increased calmness, tranquility, equanimity, and imperturbability. Now let us continue our period of meditation. Find another Rosicrucian exercise. A cosmic attunement with the celestial sanctum will imply the instructions of the booklet Liber 777 that I'll give you resources on later in the presentation. Let us rise to the heights of the celestial sanctum. But having invoked the law of purification through this breathing exercise, let us invoke that law further and invite you to say with me now, following prayer and invocation. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum into an impureness and unworthiness. So mote it be. I invite you now to use all your inner psychic faculties, imaginative capacity to visualize yourself rising up from the room where you are, your home, dwelling, or office. You keep rising up over your neighborhood, your geographic area or town or city, even up over your province or state, and now even your great nation or country, a continent where you dwell, going faster and faster, rising up, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent. Above the continent where you dwell, and even the hemisphere, now see the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, its wondrous sphere of home. Continue to rise up higher and higher past the great fiery ball of the sun, the beautiful elliptical orbits, the planets. Keep rising up past the nebulae and the myriad stellar phenomena, quasars and the pulsars and the myriad stars. And sense the great arm of the Milky Way galaxy where we dwell. And sense its great motion about its center. And pass out now even from the Milky Way galaxy. You continue to rise higher and higher into the cosmos. Going faster and faster way beyond the speed of light. Sense the myriad stars, galaxies, going faster and faster. And sense now, like we did with the Milky Way galaxy, its rotations, but also the great rotation of the universe about a great cosmic axis. Speed towards that cosmic axis to its very midpoint. And when you come to that midpoint at the center of the cosmos, slow up and look about you in awe at this stupendous harmony, system, and order of the cosmos. Continue to turn inward and sense the vastness within you, the infinite vastness within mirroring the finite vastness without. The law of correspondence. You may wish to now visualize your personal celestial sanctum, your sacred space, which may be an inspiring temple back on earth, or an inspiring place in nature like a high hill that's expansive view, or an expansive view over an ocean or lake, or a sacred grove. Fill in the sights and sounds of your sacred space now. You may wish to picture incense rising, symbolic of the law of transformation and transmutation. Maybe symbolic diagrams and pictures of Rosicrucian laws and principles. Other seekers and Rosicrucian students with visible and invisible masters and officers of our order who may be conducting a sacred ritual and convocation now. At the heights of the celestial sanctum, fill in the exhilarating experience of this highest point of consciousness. And when you're ready, you can release your visualization. When you release it, you may cease to say, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. Just let it go into the subconscious, into the cosmic mind, and continue to dwell in the deep stillness at the center of your being at the heights of the celestial sanctum. Just let go. Surrender. Feel all there is to feel. is to continue to dwell in the deep silence, increasing the presence of the Master within, the divine within. Now, for others and sorors and participants, we'll continue our period of meditation. Undertake certain further spiritual operations, the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Emor. Having applied the law of purification, the law of correspondence, and the law of cosmic attunement, we'll now apply the law of service and the central law of love. Let us have a period of the sending of metaphysical aid. Let us radiate from the center of our being love and well-being to all those who have petitioned Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order Emor for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those who have petitioned Rosicrucian Order Emor's affiliate bodies for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those you know who are in need of guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Let's apply the law of service and the law of love now to radiate love and well-being to all in need. At first, you may wish to picture it like a great beam of light going forth from you, like a great spotlight reaching out to all in need throughout the cosmos. And with it, feel your mind expanding out with those rays of love. Filling the cosmos and with love for all in need. Merging your mind with the cosmic mind. Imbued in and back of the cosmos. Just continue to radiate the love and well-being. Radiating out like a great spotlight to all in need. Feel with exhilaration, the same exhilaration in which we raised ourselves to the heights of the celestial sanctum. The exhilaration of the great flow, love out from your being to all in need. Certain point, I don't think you'll need to make any conscious effort. The love will continue to flow. So it reaches all in need. The flow will even speed up and we'll know we're reaching them. And when that happens, just surrender. The divine mind. So love flows, be one with the cosmic mind. Let us apply also the law of silence as we continue undertaking this spiritual operation. As the love flows, be one with the one. Be the cosmic mind. Experience as the cosmic mind experiences. Assume the cosmic mind now. Soon we'll formally close our period of sending of metaphysical aid, assured that the radiations of love and well-being will continue deep from deep within us as a way of life and part of our mission in life. Formally close this period of sending of metaphysical aid. I invite you to say with me now, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done, so mote it be. Now, friars and sorors and participants, let us continue a while longer in cosmic attunement at the heights of the celestial sanctum, one with the one. Soon we'll formally close our period of meditation, but before we do so, I invite you to apply the law of gratitude, express love and well-being to all those who have assisted you, all those who have taught you well, all those who have loved you, all those who have sacrificed well on your behalf. Knowing as we have received in love through them, we in turn will give in love, following their example and the guidance of the divine within. Now, friars and sorors and participants, let us begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, taking with us now and always this increased attunement with the cosmic. Let us pass at tremendous speed way beyond the speed of light, past the myriad stars and stellar phenomena and galaxies, experiencing the great music and harmony of the spheres, enjoying the beauty and wonder of it all. So we see in the distance the great spiraling arms of our local home, the Milky Way galaxy, and plunge back into the great arm, our local home, as the myriad stars and nebula, rogue planets and asteroids and black holes and cosmic web connecting the stars and galaxies. And we see in the distance our solar system, the great fiery ball of the sun, the beautiful blue jewel of the earth. As we approach the earth, come to the hemisphere where we left off, the continent, a great nation or country, province or state, our county, our local geographic area, or town or city, and now our neighborhood. Before we close this period of meditation, I invite you to say the following prayer and invocation with me. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. And now let's continue to ascend further in our home, our dwelling, our office building, back where the room we left off and how we were situated. Having applied over 40 Rosicrucian laws and principles, some of which I explicitly stated to you, we learned through our monographs. And when you're ready, you may wish to stretch and open your eyes, feeling remade, rejuvenated, re-energized, and rested, all the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amor now in our presentation. Thank you, everyone. One of the very important laws that we learn as Rosicrucians is the law of the triangle, usually depicted as an equilateral triangle, such as we have before us now. It's part of the sacred application and expression of geometry and indeed number. It's also known as the law of perfection, the law of creation, and the law of manifestation. And it's very important for our consideration on the law of love. By the law of the triangle, two polarities, here in the lower left, here in the lower right, need to come together in a perfect blend, hence named law of perfection. It could be the positive, negative poles of a magnet to form the magnetic field. It could be the positive, negative charges, electricity for it to flow. It could be the male and female principle coming together to form the child principle. And various myriad things, the ways things are manifested in our life. It's through two polarities. And it behooves us. If something isn't manifesting in our life that we feel deeply needs to, we need to look to the first two poles, for the first those two polarities, to see what we need to build up, what we need to have more of. And in building up the expression of love in our life, it's important to have light, that is knowledge. For example, Rosicrucian laws and principles we study in our monographs. Light, and also in our careers and experiences in life. We must build up the light of understanding, of knowledge, ultimately with transmuted wisdom, compassionate application of knowledge. And the other polarity, or second point of the triangle, is life. That is our vitality, our well-being and health. It needs to be well built up. And when that's merged with the light, the knowledge with the vitality, capacity, and fitness, then we can have a perfect blend giving rise to love. Now, it's true from our Rosicrucian teachings that an important part is to become unblocked. We need to have harmonious laws in our subconscious. Our habits are like laws. And our Rosicrucian teachings is on how we can have harmonious habits in our subconscious. We can replace old habits with new, have new habits in the subconscious. And in that purification process, it allows us to be unblocked, and the love will come flowing forth, just like the Rumi, the Sufian poet, expressed in his writings. There's that great floodlight comes forward, like when we did our meditation from the heights of the celestial sanctum, when we surrendered. So too, we must have properly balanced in our life, light and life, because we can sustain that expression. Sometimes we may be in relationships and wondered, well, where did the love go? Well, one can look back to the 2 points. What happened with our understanding? Were we living in ignorance? Do we need to improve our understanding? Or is there something about our health or vitality or our willingness to share our life and vigor? Bring those back into proper balance again. They'll start the love being able to be expressed and sustained. It's a very sobering lesson in life that we must have our understanding and knowledge and wisdom well in place with our health and vitality to maintain that great expression of love. It's always there, like the mystics have said, such as Rumi, but we just need to let go and let it flow. Once we've set the proper conditions with light and life for it to be unblocked, move forward. And indeed, as we grow in mastery, this more and more becomes a way of life. Indeed, in that article I referred to, our past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis, and I'll give you the resources on. He mentions that love is a divine emotion. It's something of the divine. In that sense, it's the ultimate gift of the divine. These are very inspiring conceptions. Just thinking about them helps draw in the light and the life for the love to start flowing within us. He mentions too that it brings out the dignity of the human being. We come into a full sense of what it is to be a human being through that divine love. Now, it's true that there are various forms of expression of love. One could even look at, like I mentioned earlier, the flow of electricity or electromagnetism with magnetism, the laws of attraction that are there. In a way, that's an expression of love from what Rosicrucian would call the spirit level, the physical expressions and its vibrations, the cosmic keyboard that we learn about, that all expressed through vibration and ultimately through geometry and number. At the back of those vibrations. We often sometimes hear the expression the human is in the image of God, or even more inclusive language, the human being is in the image of the divine. There's a tremendous amount in that conception that we can grow and learn of as we mature. But part of it is that being in the image of the divine is that love is a divine emotion. Just as the divine radiates love and well-being, so we as humans radiate love and well-being as we more and more mature and identify ourselves with the divine within. Also, as we increase in love, we increase in attunement with the cosmic. I think you would have felt that when we attune with the cosmic, your capacity to radiate love and well-being increased, because then we were working with our true nature, the nature we wish to fully identify with, the divine within, the master within, not only as a concept, a point of philosophy, but an astonishing lived experience with great familiarity. Because it's truly who we are, who we've been, who's been back of all our actions. Also, as our past Imperator points out, this infinite love is healing. It's one of the ways we can heal ourselves and others. In the Rosicrucian teachings, there's various ways that we learn how to heal ourselves and that of others. And this is part of the great value of doing daily our exercises and experiments along with the daily meditation. Also, our Imperator mentions that love of the beautiful brings the beautiful into greater realization. These many harmonious laws and principles working together. Beauty, the beautiful, and love are very much interrelated and strengthen themselves. We know by the law of correspondence, we've mentioned earlier, also known by the adage, as above, so below. There's a mirroring of the microcosm and the macrocosm. With this law of correspondence in mind, past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis notes that love is the limitless power by which we can rule the destiny of our lives. And it is the same power by which the divine rules the destiny of the universe. This is part of one of the esoteric meanings of the ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum exercise that we just did. I'll take down our diagram now, but we will continue with these various profound points that we've been working on. You see there's a tremendous amount of depth and meaning in the law of correspondence and its relationship to the law of love. As we grow and mature, we learn and understand more about these two laws and how we can realize them to assist ourselves and others through a third law, the law of service, just as we applied in our exercise today. We see these Rosicrucian laws and principles work in a highly meaningful and interrelated fashion. Similarly, as we increase in love, we increase in our attunement with the divine. For love is the essence of the divine in us. As our Imperator points out in his article, love proceeds from cosmic intuition, from infinite inspiration, and is seldom agreeable with and never the offspring of finite reasoning. This is a very sobering point for him that he's mentioning to us, and why we must surrender to the wisdom and strength of the divine within. And in that way, the outer self will come into its full health, well-being, vigor, and purpose in life. As working with, as an agent with the master within. Now he further mentions that selflessness is a form of false love, and that lack of appreciation, as we invoked the law of gratitude, or you recall, is a denial of love's expression. And this failure to give thanks, express the law of gratitude, is a retraction of love's power. These are sobering, maturing points to keep in mind that he mentions to us. And that the expression of thankfulness widens the horizon of receptivity. Recall when we were at the heights of the celestial sanctum, we talked about surrendering, be receptive. Such is the law of reciprocity, the law of compensation. Thankfulness is an impulse of love. A prayer of thankfulness is an expanding extension of consciousness. It brings the soul of the human closer to the divine and quickens the love in the hearts of others, as our past imperators indicate. Indeed, we always have much to be thankful for, every day and every hour of our lives. Life itself is a rich blessing, only because of this great heritage of love down through the centuries and in the eternal now. And it's sobering to keep in mind that disease grows where love is suppressed. We need to let it out, let it flow, count unblocked. There's a great deal of energy that's being held, well, not being ourselves. When we unblock, we have that tremendous transmutation, catharsis, like the phoenix rising. Past Imperator mentions this quite sobering in his time when he was writing, but also today as well. And part of the great transmutation that's taking place worldwide in our hearts and minds. He mentions that the world is ill at this moment. Its physical and political body is out of harmony. Pain and sorrow, as well as misfortune, are manifest in all the lands I have just traversed. But love can conquer the inharmony. Through love, universal, unbiased, unpolluted by racial distinctions. And he goes on further to say, to give thanks for life, and for light, for love, as we saw in the law of the triangle earlier. And to let Love brighten our hearts like we did in our mystical exercise, and by hearing these inspiring things. And brighten your heart and the heart of others. And let's surround ourselves by a widening aura of love, dispel the shadows of gloom and depression. And the universal law will bring to all beings the true desires of their hearts. He mentions the law is within you. Love is the law. Now, in marked contrast, sometimes we may feel unloving or unloved. The outer self may sometimes feel experiences there's so much love at once. We experience that in cosmic attunement. I know you've experienced that, for example, our landmark affiliate bodies or after our mystical days or world conventions. There's a tremendous influx of love. And our nervous system adjusts to this tremendous influx of universal love. In fact, in a certain way, it was designed to take that tremendous love, dampen down its forces, and be healed by it. Now, care, the time needs to be taken in how love is expressed. That is true, to be understood in the social and cultural context of the times. And sometimes love needs to be unspoken and outwardly not overtly shown. But nevertheless, it can be radiated to be received wherever possible. I think it can be understood, show it outwardly as well as the radiation. I'll give you a wonderful article written entitled The Art of Radiating Love and how we can have that as a daily practice in our lives. And this radiation of love and healing that we did during a meditation part very increasingly becomes a meaningful way of life. Indeed, what I'd like to express too is that in the experience of cosmic consciousness, all is known and all are greatly loved, far beyond what the outer self can do. And once we've experienced, we need to emulate it. We need to live it out. Before we conclude, I'll mention to Karen she can paste the resources in the chat for you and attach them as a PDF document. I think you'll find easiest to access to download the PDF document. So by way of conclusion, I'll mention again that we've been considering the November 1931 issue of the Rosicrucian Digest, featured by the article by Imperator Emeritus H. Lewis, and we've expanded on it. Its title was Love and Thanksgiving. And we're doing this as we lead up to Valentine's Day. And we followed up on the central law of love at the heart of the mystical life, which is the art and science of love. And we've considered love's meaning, wide-ranging expression, and keys for sustaining it in our life. We need to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles and their creative expression and application for the mastery of life, harmonious living and service. Indeed, by being loving, we draw ourselves toward and into the Christ consciousness. That is the consciousness of the cosmic. And at the same time, a wonderful dual action occurs. In that cosmic attunement, we are uplifted in wisdom and love. And then we are all the more able to pour them forth in all we do in all our contexts. Thank you, everyone. It's wonderful to be with you.